All right, welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping straight back to 16th century India to look at a Rajput king who basically looked at the wildly expanding Mughal Empire and said, "No way." This is the story of Maharana Pratap, the 13th ruler of Mewar, a guy who literally chose the brutal, unforgiving wilderness over surrendering his pride and his kingdom.
So you really gotta ask yourself, what does it actually take to defy an empire? I mean, picture this. It's 1572. Emperor Akbar is rapidly sweeping across northern India. Rulers left and right are becoming vassals. Even Pratap's own brothers, Shakti Singh, Saga Singh, and Jagamal Singh, they folded. But Maharana Pratap, he completely refused to bow. He batted away Akbar's diplomats one by one, choosing to stand entirely alone. He knew for sure that a massive clash was inevitable, and he welcomed it.
Section 1. The Giant of Mewar, Might and Mind.
Okay, to understand how he even attempted this defiance, you have to look at the man himself. Historical claims say Maharana Pratap was over 7 feet tall. 7 feet! Imagine staring across the battlefield and seeing this literal giant leading the charge. That sheer physical scale is just mind-blowing. Inspiring if you're with him, absolutely terrifying if you're against him.
And he definitely wasn't packing light. We're talking heavy armor, a lethal spear, twin swords. The whole shebang weighed over 35 kilograms. That's almost 80 pounds of gear, and he knew exactly how to use it. There's this famous story where he struck a Mughal commander, Belo Khan, with such incredible force that he sliced the guy and the horse he was riding completely in half. Just boom, right down the middle. That's the raw, devastating power we're dealing with here.
Section 2. The Battle of Haldighati, 18 June, 1576. This brings us to the flashpoint, Haldighati. It's this narrow mountain pass in the Aravalli Range, named because the crushed rock there looks like bright yellow turmeric or haldi powder. Now, picking this bottleneck was a stroke of tactical genius, because the numbers were wildly skewed. On one side, Pratap has 3,000 cavalry and 400 incredibly skilled Bhil archers. On the other, a massive Mughal army led by Man Singh I. Sources debate the exact Mughal numbers, anywhere from 10,000 to a staggering 80,000 men. But no matter how you slice it, the Mughals outnumbered the Mewari forces by at least 4-1. The stakes were absolute life or death.
For 6 chaotic hours, it was a total bloodbath, and the momentum shifted wildly. Right out of the gate, the Rajput surge was so fierce it actually crumbled the Mughal wings. But then, the Mughals rallied. When the Mewari war elephants charged in, Mughal musketeers managed to break them up with a heavy rifle barrage. Then came the psychological warfare. The Mughal rearguard started beating cattle drums, spreading this rumor that Emperor Akbar himself had just arrived with massive reinforcements. That really took the wind out of the exhausted Mewari troops. Recognizing that the tide was turning, Pratap's nobles convinced their injured king to make a tactical retreat so he could live to fight another day.
But to make that retreat happen, we see this just stunning act of loyalty. A chieftain named Man Singh, who happened to look a lot like the king, steps up. He actually puts on Maharana Pratap's royal crown and emblems. The Mughal forces, completely fooled, swarm him. Man Singh acts as a decoy and sacrifices his own life right there on the battlefield, just so his ruler could escape. Moving to Section 3, Chetak's brave sacrifice.
While Man Singh wasn't the only one who made a great sacrifice that day, you literally cannot talk about Maharana Pratap without talking about the emotional core of this battle, his warhorse, Chetak. During the thick of the fighting, Pratap spots the Mughal commander, Man Singh, up on a war elephant. Pratap charges. In a totally visceral, epic maneuver, he gets Chetak to rear up so high that the brave horse plants its front hooves directly onto the elephant's trunk. This insane elevation gives Pratap the perfect angle to hurl his massive javelin right at the commander. Man Singh barely ducks into his howdah in time to save his own life.
But man, that brave charge came at a heavy cost. The Mughals had actually tied a sword to the tip of the elephant's trunk. When Chetak came back down, his leg was fatally sliced. But here's the thing about this legendary blue horse. He refused to quit. Even with a catastrophic injury, Chetak carried the rider of the blue horse for miles, pushing through the pain to get Pratap to absolute safety. He only collapsed and died once he knew his master was out of harm's way. The Chetak Smarak monument actually still stands today at the exact spot where he fell.
Section 4. Allies in the Forest.
So, the battle's lost, but Pratap's life is saved. He's forced into exile and makes a vow.
No royal pleasures until Mewar is free again. He takes to the jungle and completely flips the script by using guerrilla warfare. We're talking hit-and-run tactics, ambushes, sabotage, highly mobile, independent forces using the hostile terrain to ruthlessly bleed the Mughal supply lines. But to pull this off in the rugged Aravalli Hills, he needed the people who knew those hills best.
Enter the Bhil tribe. This indigenous alliance is honestly one of the most fascinating aspects of Pratap's entire struggle. They were absolutely indispensable. The Bhils provided critical terrain intelligence, acting as scouts and spies. Their archery, legendary. It was perfect for ambushing Mughal forces from hidden vantage points. And they kept the royal family from starving, sharing their meager food, famously including rotis made out of grass. But what's truly revolutionary here is Pratap's leadership style. In a deeply hierarchical society, he didn't treat the Bhils as subordinates. He treated them as absolute equals. He even gave their leader, Punja, the royal title of Rana. The Bhils loved him so much they affectionately called him Kika, which means son. It wasn't just a military alliance. It was a profound partnership built on mutual respect.
Section 5. An Unconquered Legacy.
Thanks to this relentless guerrilla campaign, Akbar's dream of capturing Maharana Pratap literally never materialized. When rebellions elsewhere forced the emperor to shift focus, Pratap pounced. Starting in 1582 with a lightning strike, he went on a massive offensive and managed to reclaim 36 crucial outposts of Mewar. 36! He recovered major territories like Kumbhalgarh and Udaipur, ultimately driving the Mughals out of his ancestral lands and setting up a new capital at Shavand. He spent his final years actually enjoying the independence he'd fought so brutally hard to secure.
The respect he commanded extended even to his sworn enemies. One of Emperor Akbar's own courtiers, Abdullahim Khan-e-Khana, famously wrote, "All is unstable in this world. Land and wealth will disappear, but the virtue of a great name lives forever." Pratap abandoned wealth and land but never bowed his head. Think about that. Even the guys actively fighting against him were utterly fascinated and moved by his unbreakable valor.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you chewing on this final thought. What is the true price of liberty? Maharana Pratap created the comforts of a palace for a life of grueling hardship. He ate grass in the forest, he bled on the battlefield, and he lost incredible allies like Jalaman Singh and Chetak, all because the sovereignty of his people was simply non-negotiable. It really illustrates that true leadership isn't just about winning battles. It's about holding on to your principles when the entire world is demanding that you surrender. Thanks for learning with me today, and keep exploring the incredible stories that shape our history.